English with Deck. Job hunting in any country or culture can be a very daunting, very frustrating, very long winded task. It can be arduous. It can make you cry. It can make you scream at the the monitor. Like ah. Um, but at the end of the day, hopefully you will land that perfect job. You know, I was going through my computer files the other day, and I came across some of my old resumes actually, and it's really interesting to see the how my style of presenting myself has changed, and I think for the better, if I'm honest. You know, um, we're taught in schools and by our superiors, our parents, etc., certain ways to present ourselves in a resume and for future career opportunities. And I think there is a very textbook way of doing that, and there is a very traditional way of doing that. However, I think these days those methods, for the most part, they're not out of the window, but they're definitely a little old fashioned. You know, if you are going for a very specific, very high level, intensely qualified role, sure, you could go for a very traditional style resume where you have multiple pages covering more. When I say multiple, I mean more than two. From my experience, and just for what I've been told consistently over the recent years, around 2 pages max. Ideally one, but 2 pages is fine. Um, yeah. Any more than that, you need to have some really good stuff to put on there. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time for the recruiter, as they view so many. Um, Now, again, let me preface all this by saying I'm not an expert by any means. However, I have learnt a lot over the last few years, and just general common sense in this day and age goes a long way. You know, I am not an expert at job hunting. I am not going to say that. But, you know, over the years, I've transitioned through several different careers and jobs within those career fields. Um, and I have definitely learnt a lot about how to present myself in that time, you know, and it does make a real difference, depending on the culture and the background of the company that you're applying to. For example, in Japan, it's very common to have a picture on your resume, you know. Whereas in England or in a lot of Western countries, to be honest, it really depends on the country, and it might not even be actually acceptable. There are a lot of cases where it's not wanted because of discrimination and stuff like that. So it really, you have to tailor your resume to specific needs of the cultural requirements. And then following on from that, that header, that introduction is so important. Can't be too waffly. It can't be too long-winded. But also, you don't want it just like "Hi, my name's Deck. I'm English." Really quick, really snappy. You want it to be a consistent length. So there is like balance there. And again, it varies from person to person. It varies from job to job. And getting that perfect one size fits all resume, well, maybe it works. For me personally, I think it's better to tweak the resume a little bit job by job. But yeah, I came across my old resumes and some newer ones as well, and it made me chuckle a little bit, just to look at the differences in how I've learned to present myself. I've definitely condensed my experience. I've definitely prioritized and made it so that the important stuff is only there, only there. Oh, no, I am so sorry. Only the important stuff is out on view. They don't want to know the nitty gritty details about me. They can find that out in the interview. Mm. Yeah, well, anyway, if any of you are job hunting, job seeking, good luck to you. And I'm sure you'll do absolutely fine.